to state that I am very much happy to host Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban and his delegation in Ankara, and I would like to welcome them all again. With the friendly and ally country Hungary, we today held the fifth meeting of the Turkey-Hungary High-Level Strategic Cooperation Council, the grounds of which were laid in 2013, and we addressed our bilateral relations in detail. In our bilateral meetings and also interdelegations meetings, we had the chance to address various details. When it comes to international and regional matters, we exchanged opinions. Our economic and trade relations, thanks be to God, are ever growing. The current figures show that our trade volume by the end of the year, indeed it seems like it's 3 billion, but my dear friend said it's $4 billion, and we of course would recognize that with pleasure, and with this we will pave further way, and we aim to achieve a bilateral trade volume of $6 billion. And we, with Mr. Prime Minister, talked in detail the possible steps we can take forward. We're pleased to see the growing interest by the investors. In Hungary, about 500 Turkish companies operate, and we have around $700 million worth of Turkish economic assets. And with the planned advancements, we aim that this figure will increase up to 3 billion. With my dear friends' support, as well as the support to be provided by the Hungarian authorities, I believe we will easily achieve such figures. And as Turkey, we will continue to support Hungarian investors in all means. Our business circles increase the level of cooperation in third countries. We appreciate the Turkish-Hungarian joint investments in African continent. As NATO allies, we have a great potential in defense industry. The friendship agreement in between our countries now marks its centenary, and and we will be celebrating that as a Turkey-Hungary cultural year, and the events to be carried within the framework of that will contribute to our relations. During the council meeting, we also addressed the issue of the return of 101 historical artifacts returned from Hungary back to Turkey. And in the person of the Hungarian Prime Minister, I would like to thank to all the Hungarian authorities and officials for the close cooperation they have shown on behalf of my country and myself. Such a step will be a denominator that shows the whole world that effective fight against illegal trafficking of historical artifacts is possible. And I hope that this cooperation exhibited by the Hungarian authorities will stand exemplary for the whole world. Distinguished friends, at the Turkey Council meeting, which will be held tomorrow, we will also host Mr. Prime Minister. As you know, Hungary is an observer country to Turkey Council, has been an observer since 2018. And the Turkey Council is hosted by Turkey as well. And at the international and regional platforms, along with the Turkey Council, we are determined to further improve our relations and cooperation with Hungary. And tomorrow's council meeting will be held for the first time internationally. on the Democracy and Freedom Island. And this beautiful island has been gentrified from A to Z, if you will, and we will be organizing that council meeting tomorrow there, and we attach great importance to that meeting. And it's a source of pride for us to take that this council meeting will take start there. The fact that we have started that process with our strategic ally, Hungary, makes us especially happy. And using this opportunity, I would like to reiterate and express my special thanks to the Prime Minister, Viktor Orban, and Hungarian authorities for their great support and cooperation. I will always remember the strong support they have lent to our country, and I will continue to remember that dearly. And I hope that the contributions brought about will be stronger, and I hope that the council meeting will be auspicious for all relevant parties. And I would like to thank you all very much. And as you know, we have had a chance to crown our cooperation, our strategic partnership with 9 agreements signed. I would like to thank Prime Minister Viktor Orban for his participation to the event titled A Breath for the Future, and also for his visit to our country. Thank you very much.
Mélyen tisztelt elnök úr, hölgyeim és uraim! Magyarország egy 1100 éves állam. Ennyi idő alatt sokat lehet tanulni. Az egyik legfontosabb geopolitikai lecke, amit mi magyarok
back a very long time, and in our schools we teach our pupils about the importance of 3 countries in the vicinity of our homeland, Berlin, Moscow and Istanbul. But now obviously Istanbul is mentioned as Ankara. This triangle is very important for Hungarians, and this triangle has always been very important for us. This is like a tripod, and this is a triangle of fraternity and friendship, and we need to continue to improve our relations. For the first time in year 2000, I had the opportunity to hold high-level talks with my Turkish counterparts, and once again I'm here in Turkey. At the time when I first visited, Mr. Demirel was the president, and I felt instantly that I was within friends and within brothers, and for 20 years our bilateral relations have improved even further. And in year 2013, with Mr. President, when Mr. President visited us in Budapest, he honored us, and since then our bilateral ties have been improving in a dynamic fashion. Now, this is especially important at difficult times. At the time of the pandemic, when we look at the trade volume between Turkey and Hungary, we realized that our numbers actually increased. We achieved more than 30% more bilateral trade between the 2 nations. Now this totals $4 billion according to our estimations, and this is no small feat, and this was largely achieved thanks to Mr. President and his dedication to the further strengthening the ties between our 2 nations. We have been working really hard for this since 2013, and we have repatriated Turkish artifacts. Obviously we love them, but they did not belong to us, and that's why we have returned them to Turkey. For us Hungarians, if something does not belong to us, we always return it to their rightful owners. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me also take this opportunity to mention 4 crises unfolding in Europe: healthcare, economic crisis, migration, and energy. These are the 4 crises that we are impacted by. Every leader, every politician would do well to focus on these issues and find solutions in a spirit of cooperation as well with other politicians and leaders. Turkish-Hungarian cooperation will play a key role in the tackling of these 4 issues. And I'd like to indicate here once again that when the pandemic first appeared, when things were looking rather tough, when we didn't have PPE, when we simply lacked masks to protect ourselves, our Turkish friends, our Turkish brothers and sisters, selflessly extended a helping hand to us, and they sent us raw materials to produce masks and other PPE. And tomorrow as well, we will be discussing vaccination donations to Africa that we will make possible as Turkey and Hungary. And as for the economic crisis, Hungarian people, due to the pandemic, have been focusing on investments to weather the storm, so to speak. We believe that revitalizing the economy is so important. That's why we need foreign direct investment, and we have achieved great success in this regard. 70 billion forint worth of investment has been, this is Turkish investment in Hungary to establish a factory, a packaging factory will be built. And as for immigration, irregular immigration, we are under pressure from Western Balkans, from the Mediterranean, and from Belarus as well. And this being the case, Europe needs allies, and these allies need to be in a position to protect Europe at large. There needs to be a ring of protection, otherwise Europe will be finding itself in a difficult situation. And Turkey is an integral part of this ring of protection as far as Hungary is concerned, in order to stop irregular immigration. We have reached an agreement to deploy 50 officers along the border. 50 border officers will be deployed, and we will be liaising with our Turkish counterparts, and we will make sure that the EU offers support to Turkey. We believe that this is imperative, and this shouldn't be done in chunks. There should be direct support, especially to protect the southeastern borders. Not just for our own border protection. Lithuania's needs must be met, Hungary's needs must be met, and Turkey's needs must be met in terms of border protection, because Hungary, as you know, is an integral part of Europe. And as for the energy crisis, let me say that we are already cooperating on 2 domains, the first of which is the natural gas pipeline from the south that transports gas to Hungary. And taking this opportunity, I would like to extend my gratitude to Mr. President for the Turkish stream gas. And when it comes to nuclear gas, we continue to invest together. And when it comes to scientific education, and education, we will continue to cooperation, and we will increase the magnitude of this cooperation, and we will offer more scholarships to Turkish students, and 150 scholarships are extended by the Hungarian state this year to Turkish citizens, and we had 1,800 applications, and we are going to increase the quota to 200 scholarships next year, and we will also put the emphasis on education on nuclear energy. And finally, let me say that military cooperation is yet another field that we take very seriously, and in Africa we have been taking joint steps. We have been focusing on economic cooperation, and we also discussed Bosnia with Mr. President, and this has been a very fruitful meeting. Bosnia's stability and peace are important for us both, for our countries, and recently we met Mr. President Sodik, and we both met him, and we believe that everyone is on the same page when it comes to peace and prosperity in the region. And finally, people living in the Balkans need to be heard. We shouldn't be talking about those people. We should be talking with them in order to achieve stability and peace in the region. So larger powers would do well to talk to the local populations and work with them to assist them. And I'd like to thank Mr. President once again for this opportunity.
Sayın Başbakan'a çok teşekkür ediyorum. Şimdi bir soru Macaristan'dan alacağız.
Minister, we will now receive one question from the Hungarian side and one question from the Turkish side. The floor is firstly given to the Hungary side.
Orbán Viktor miniszterelnök úrtól kérdezném, ugye ön is szót ejtett az energiaválságról, ami Európát.
Minister, I have a question for you regarding the energy crisis that is besetting Europe. In Hungary, after 15th of November, there will be price hikes when it comes to energy prices. Is this going to be a sufficient response to the energy crisis? Yes, before we came here, we had a cabinet meeting in Hungary, and we discussed the latest situation when it comes to inflation, and we talked about factors that increase inflation, fuel prices, and so on and so forth. We are a market-friendly government, and there has been no other government in Hungary to support markets so much, and for 3 times there have been interventions. Fuel prices have increased so much, and this is having a pressure on inflation. That's why we had to intervene and take the necessary steps. 480 for diesel and gas. We introduced this cap for 80, and for 3 months. This will be applicable until the end of February, and we will reassess the situation then. For large energy companies, obviously, this is a burden, and they will have to let go of some of their profitability, but for the welfare of Hungarian people, we have got to do this. And I'm hoping that the international energy situation will improve. Prices will go down below 480 forint in the upcoming period, but up until then, this is the cap that we will have to stick to.
Now the floor is given to the Turkish side. Celal Çevi is my name. Mr. Prime Minister also talked about what Turkey did about the migration crisis and said that Turkey should be supported in the EU level. However, Mitsotakis of Greece made a statement yesterday. I would like to hear your comments about his statement. And in Dedac, there is still supply ongoing, and in the Greek media, there are some comments that this location is used as an observing spot. How would you like to comment on those, Mr. President? Stating that the refugee crisis is stemming from Turkey is a disgrace, because considering the total number of refugees in Turkey, which is 5 million, around 5 million, almost 4 million of them, as known, are from Syria, and there are also refugees from Iraq and Afghanistan. We're talking about a country that hosts around 5 million refugees. So stating that the refugee crisis is stemming from or is related with Turkey is indeed a disgrace. And I don't know what would Greece do if we open our borders. I would not know, especially in the Mediterranean and in the Aegean Sea. Greece was the country that indeed punched the boats of the refugees and left them to their death. They did not care if the refugees were children or not. They, by passing very fast from the Coast Guard, capsized intentionally the boats of the refugees and also caused the death of refugees. So it was again Greece. And now, what are we really talking about? And Mitsotakis and his helpers are not acting honestly and spend their days with lies. And because of that, they cannot create credibility in the region. And as of this moment, we have all the documents, all video footage showing how they buried regular and irregular refugees in those waters. We have the documents of those. You can deceive the whole world by telling such things, but you cannot do the same for Turkey. You cannot fool Turkey. And about other questions, as regards Alexandropolis, Dedac. Indeed, Dedac is not a base for Greece only. The Greece itself has become a base for the US. The number of the US bases in Greece are numerous, and I don't know the exact count even. There are so many bases there. And when you bring all these together, the picture is the Greece itself is like the base of the US. This is the picture, and this is indeed a document on the map. And Dedeağaç, Alexandropolis, is just a small region. And all of those. And why are such things done? With Biden and also with other relevant officials, our ministers, our defense minister asked those questions to them during meetings, and they did not behave honestly. And the neighbor they chose for themselves is a wrong one.
Yunanistan'la takındıkları bu tavır
And this
doğru bir
attitude
tavır
they
değil.
have in
Biz
the Aegean
NATO
Sea
üyesiyiz.
with Greece is not a
Amerika
right
NATO
one.
üyesi.
We are a NATO
Yunanistan
country.
NATO üyesi.
Greece is a NATO country,
NATO
and
üyeleri olarak
Turkey is a NATO country. US is a NATO country. But
en çok
as
destek veren
NATO members,
olduğuna göre
and as
biz
the
niye
US is
birbirimize
the
düşüyoruz?
country that supports
Ve
it the most,
NATO üyeleri
then
içerisinde
why are we turning against one another,
asker sayısı itibariyle
considering the number of the
gerekse
troops
mali destek
and in
itibariyle
terms of the financial
Türkiye,
support?
Amerika'dan sonra
Turkey
ilk 7 içerisinde yer alan bir ülkedir.
is among the top
Böyle
7
bir tablo var.
of the NATO members
Yunanistan'ın böyle bir durumu
with the
yok.
US. This is the
Yunanistan çok
picture.
gerilerde.
That's not the case for Greece. Greece is way behind.
Fakat biz kendimize inanıyoruz.
However, we believe in ourselves.
Güveniyoruz.
We have full
Ve
confidence.
bu bölgenin biz sigortasıyız.
And we are the assurance of this region.
Teşekkür ediyorum.
Thank you.
All right, you just heard the wrapping up there of a press conference between Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan and the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. This meeting was ostensibly for Hungary to return some artifacts to Turkey, but clearly the discussion was much more about other key issues, one especially contentious one being the issue of migration in Europe as a whole. Let's go to Hassan Abdullah now, who's in